Germany's entire defense is subsidized by the American taxpayer. There are thousands upon thousands of American troops in Germany today. Do you think that the American taxpayer is going to stand for that if you get thrown in jail in Germany for posting a mean tweet? Of course they're not, right? So the point that I try to make to our European friends, and I think that they're our friends, I believe that, I know President Trump does, is that friendship is based on shared values. You do not have shared values if you're jailing people for saying we should close down our border. You don't have shared values if you cancel elections because you don't like the result, and that happened in Romania. You do not have shared values if you're so afraid of your own people that you silence them and shut them up. So let's have shared values. Let's defend democracy. Let's have free expression, not just in the United States, but all over the Western world. That is the path to strong alliances in Europe.
Imagine you're paying for somebody to have a possibility to have a value. And supposedly we only pay that because we share the same value and I want to help you to keep that value. And you get so accustomed to the idea that I have to help you have the human right to have a specific value that suddenly you're like, you know what? I can just change it.
You'll see! You'll all see!
Let me show you some of the messaging that you can't have anymore in Germany.
Überleg jetzt ernsthaft, weil sie gegen das Zustromsbegrenzungsgesetz gestimmt haben, also die Mehrheit, und das nicht zustande kommt, die AfD zu wählen. Einfach nur, weil ich Angst habe, Bahn zu fahren, Angst habe, in die Stadt zu gehen, Angst habe, irgendwas noch in der Öffentlichkeit zu machen und die Flüchtlingskrise, das ist unkontrollierte Migration, geht schief. Wie könnt ihr diese Probleme in diesem Land so verharmlosen, dass ich überlege, AfD zu wählen, weil ich nicht mehr anders weiß, weil ich nicht weiß, was ich noch machen soll, weil ich Angst habe, in die Stadt...
Like they don't even give their own people an option. Like I can understand you care about people, but the people in their daily lives don't feel the care that you're talking about. And they're going to vote for the only option they have. But then again, will that happen? I don't think so.
No.
Because just like in Romania, the party that won through the votes of the citizen, you freaking canceled the vote. Like the whole event. Like, let's have a fair election. I won. No, we canceled it. That ain't democracy.
My message to young men is don't allow this broken culture to send you a message that you're a bad person because you're a man, because you like to tell a joke, because you like to have a beer with your friends, or because you're competitive. It's... Our message, the cultural message, and I think the president's and mine is the exact opposite, but our cultural message is, I think that it wants to turn everybody, into, whether male or female, into androgynous idiots who think the same, talk the same, and act the same. We actually think God made male and female for a purpose, and we want you guys to thrive as young men and as young women, and we're going to help with our public policy to make it possible to do that.
Bengadilo, remember to subscribe.
Remember to subscribe? ¿Por qué?
And some people might say, well, you're exaggerating. Not everybody thinks like that. I'm like,
let us investigate.
Absurd, from top to bottom, saying there should be a gender-neutral Olympics?
I know.
Are you serious?
Madness.
Do you also believe, Blossom, that we should combine the Paralympics and the Olympics? I would love to hear an answer to that.
Okay, I'll ask her. Bring back Blossom. Blossom, should we combine the Paralympics with the regular Olympics? Have them all compete with each other?
I mean, why not? And to go back to Riley's point to that last point.
Okay, you are completely insane.
Go back to that last point.
I think they mean well, but their empathy is at a level that it has unique consequence that nobody takes in consideration. And the only reason nobody really pushes back is until something really bad happens.
What does transgenderism in public look like to you?
It's allowing men to be treated for the purposes of the law as women. It's men taking 900 sports trophies from women in recent years.
And they didn't take 900.
They took 900. There's a report just came out from the United Nations, actually. 890 trophies and medals across 600 women who were competitors, across 29 different sports and 400 competitions. That came out like yesterday.
And they deserved them.
It didn't happen, and they deserve them. Okay.
How can you go from it didn't happen and suddenly it is a good thing? That's a faster version of it didn't happen, it didn't happen, it didn't happen. Just stop thinking about the conspiracy. Well, it's just happening a little. It's not going to affect your life. It's a new normal. It's 2025. It did happen. It's a good thing. You're a bigot. It's like, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be right over again. But I know I'm a pattern recognition expert.
It is true that many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent and was not running the country. It is also true that many people in this room who have used this talking point that Elon is not elected fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a brief civics lesson. A president is elected by the whole American people. He's the only official in the entire government that is elected by the entire nation, right? Judges are appointed, members of Congress are elected at the district or state level, just one man. And the Constitution, Article 2, has a clause known as the vesting clause, and it says the executive power shall be vested in a president, singular. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff to then impose that democratic will onto the government.
Don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that shit.
But now let's talk about the people that say they represent democracy.
The threat to democracy, indeed the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenured civil servants who believe they answer to no one, who believe they can do whatever they want without consequence, who believe they can set their own agenda no matter what Americans vote for. So Americans vote for radical FBI reform, and FBI agents say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote for radical reform on our energy policies, but EPA bureaucrats say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote to end DEI, racist DEI policies, and lawyers in the Department of Justice say they don't want to change. What President Trump is doing is he is removing federal bureaucrats who are defying democracy by failing to implement his lawful orders, which are the will of the whole American people.
That's a damn shame.
If I have to be honest, if the majority of the people vote for something and somebody says we're not going to do that, isn't that a threat to democracy? I don't understand that.
Why did you leave me?
I don't understand people say, I hate when you use the word DEI. I'm like, okay, but so many things happen under that name, people didn't like it, and we want something different. That's a threat to democracy because a bunch of, well, you be manipulated by the algorithm. I'm like, it works both ways.
Why did you leave me?
You know, it works both ways. But the thing is, you lost this time, and you're just saying, we didn't lose. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Why did you leave me?
And now Elon Musk, Trump, they found a bunch of waste. They're like, oh my God, look at how much money we kind of saved the people. Let's give it back.
And we look across the Atlantic with envy. We see President Trump in the Oval Office signing off executive orders, and we want some of that in Britain. We want drill, baby, drill. We want men banned from women's bathrooms and women's sports. We want illegal immigrants deported. We want taxes to be cut. We want a Trump revolution in Britain. We want to flood the zone. We want Elon and his nerd army of muskrats examining the British deep state.
Even Britain wants a little of that.
Now, President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from DOGE back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
Listen, he's just telling a lie. He's not the one that had anything to do with the $1,200 refunds that people had during the midst of COVID that was done by a Democratic House and Democratic Senate. Right now, what they're going to do is say, hey, we want to give you a refund, but Congress won't let us because they already know that there's just no money for that. The only reason that those refunds came before was because we were living in different times. This was a time in which hopefully we won't ever go through again. We had a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. The bad part is that I don't know if it's once in a lifetime because we know that Ebola, unfortunately, was detected right here in New York.
What?
Here recently, and if we continue down this road of getting rid of scientists or deciding that we don't want to rely on experts as it relates to what they're telling us to do, or we don't want to deal with vaccines and medicine in this country, then we may be facing not only our next pandemic, but our next 2, 3, or 4 pandemics because of their incompetence. So no, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
What?
You don't know what $5 will do for you? What are you talking about, you freaking millionaire?
I can't let that shit go. So Jasmine Crockett, if $5,000 ain't shit to the American people, what the fuck was $750 gonna do for the people that just lost everything? Huh? You was definitely campaigning for that shit. We seen you. We fucking seen you campaigning for that shit. You got some bald-headed nerves to fit your lips to tell us any fucking thing. You make $180 a year. How the fuck is you worth $9 million? Huh? You just got an office. You just had that. We just was looking at your fucking bank statements, bitch. But I do have to thank you for one thing. You just deaded the whole dumbass shit about reparations. Bring that dumbass shit up again. Bring that dumbass shit. You talking about some y'all just what the bald-headed bitch just said. You and the bald-headed bitch just talking about giving away fucking reparations, but you don't give away shit. I can't do nothing with you stupid motherfuckers.
Another one. Jasmine Crockett, bring your goofy ass up here because you got the nerve to go on TV and say that the United States is not in the business of handing out money, but the USAID was handing out money nonstop. It's okay when y'all do it, but when Trump do it, it's a problem. All right. You got the nerve to really throw out in the world the Ebola virus, 1 case in New York, 1 case. Watch the fear-mongering, people. This is what they do. They're planting the seeds early. They're planting the seeds early. Pay attention to what they're saying. Anaya Presley went up there and told us she wants somebody to help censor the American people. And the sheep are okay with that. You see them out there protesting. Oh, what side you on? They doing all this. But at the end of the day, you really have to pay attention. These people are planning something big. And they're planning something big because they lost big. And I love it.
I thought I was alone with my one eye seeing all this craziness. No, a lot of people see it. And guess what? Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Your eyes are open. Your eyes are open. I can see the world now.
Hey, I heard Elon and the DOGE team started looking at Medicare, and I found something for them. This medication is pirfenidone. Medicare filled it 85,000 times in 2022 at an average cost of $8,000 per prescription. They spent $680 million on that one drug in just 1 year. However, at my pharmacy, which is a cost-plus pharmacy, meaning we don't take insurance, that same prescription would only cost $200. If we filled all 85,000 prescriptions, it would cost $17 million total. That means Medicare is overpaying by $663 million every year. How did they do that? Well, Medicare contracts with pharmacy benefits managers to tell them how much they should be paying for medications. The problem is the pharmacy benefits manager gets paid a percentage of the cost. That means the higher the price, the higher their cut.
Hypocrisy, my friend.
They aren't incentivized to lower the cost. They're incentivized to raise the cost, and they are not shy about it. So it's an easy solution for the DOGE team. Cancel the PBM contracts and bring the actual costs back into the equation instead of those nonsense made-up prices that the PBMs use. If you want to see if the PBMs have been raising the cost of your medication, go to forestparkpharmacy.com and look at our price checker to see if we can save you.
But just because an insurance bought the product for you because they're going to provide it for you in the same country, but they buy it at a higher price, because it incentivizes the person that's going to sell it. I don't know. I think they definitely need an audit because they're not doing this for the people. They're doing it for themselves.
Don't get me wrong, ako sa kita bong. Puta fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam turlo keta verdeta welcome.